Hello, fellow Pokemon trainers. My name is Simon Says, aka Zach, and I'm here to bring you a fantastic battle today. This battle was done off of stream, but it was such a nail biter that I actually had like the type charts open. I was checking speeds. It was just such a good battle. So what I did was I went into my box and I built a team around 2 tanks. Florges, my special tank, and Ferrothorn, my physical wall. So from there, I just went and I added Pokemon that I felt would work. So I'm like, okay, Florges and Ferrothorn cover each other pretty well. Florges will take any special fire, and Ferrothorn will take anything physical. But then I thought, they're going to probably want to bring a spinner to get rid of rocks and things like that, so I should bring a ghost type. So I decided to bring the tanky Coffee, and from there I'm like, okay, I need something that can do something physical. I brought out the Gliscor because I knew he could do damage. He's not there as the be-all end-all sweeper, but he's there to lay out some damage, do a knockoff if needed, poison someone if needed, things like that. So he's a pretty good, bulky, defensive guy. And then I'm like, okay, now I need to get some actual damage in here. I brought Manectric because Manectric Mega is incredibly fast, it's got great coverage, and if an Earthquake comes, the Gliscor can take it for the Manectric. And then I'm like, okay, I need someone who can actually come in, do the damage also, and come in and sweep. So I thought, I don't have any water, I don't have a lot of ice. I mean, I have Manectric's HP ice, but I don't have a lot of options, so I brought Greninja. So if we look at Robbles, I'm battling Robbles today, and it was just a random battle I did after building this team. Robbles accepted the challenge, and boy, was this such a great battle. So we're going to take a look at his team quickly as well. He has the Avalog, which is an incredible tank. Of course, he also has a pretty damage-heavy team. He has the Azumarill. He has the Heracross, who's bulky and does good damage. He has, of course, the Chandelure, amazing special sweeper. He has the physical, and he has, so his team's just really, really solidly built. So we're going to take a look at this battle and just see what happened. What caused this battle to be so amazing. So we're going to start it up right now. So right here, I was thinking about starting with Ferrothorn, but I'm like, no, he'll bring out something else. So I brought out Manectric first as my lead. It was a pretty solid lead, and it was a good choice because I would have had a terrible switch, and it would have caused problems. But right here, what I wasn't expecting was to take I get the Intimidate off, and the Intimidate, doesn't really do anything, but I wasn't expecting the Fire Blast. Now, Fire Blast, compared to a Flamethrower, is crazy damage, and as you can see, I've survived with 5 health. I go for the Thunderbolt to get more damage off instead of the Volt Switch. But here, with that 5 health, I know I'm slower. I'm pretty sure I'm slower. I have to switch, because I'm pretty sure he's choiced. I don't want to take the chance. And it looks like he is choiced, because Fire Blast comes out again. So that crit right there takes out a good 85 health, which is almost half. But see, he is choiced, and I've known that because he wouldn't have used Fire Blast if he wasn't choiced. So right here, the Azumarill comes out, and I know Florges cannot take a hit, and I was trying to decide, do I go for the Moonblast or the Wish? And I went for the Moonblast, just in case he did stay in to do another Fire Blast. But here, I have to switch out. I know I have to switch out, so I go right into, of course, Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn's an amazingly bulky Pokemon. He ends up using the Play Rough here, and it ends up doing a good amount. I mean, pretty good amount. But he's really getting hurt. That Azumarill, it's not going to have a fun day if it stays in. So he's going to instantly switch out. And I knew he was going to switch out, so I decided I'm going to set up my rocks, because this feels like it's going to be a big switching game. Right here, I set up my rocks. And right here, I tried to decide if I should stay in or switch to Coffee. I decided I'm going to stay in and get the Leech Seed off. And he goes for the Drain Punch, which actually ends up doing a significant amount. I mean, that's pretty crazy. The Iron Barbs do some damage, but that Drain Punch is going to keep him really, really healthy. So I go for the Leech Seed instead of switching out, which is, I don't know if it's a mistake or not. But of course, we get leftovers, and we have the Leech Seed coming in. So we are healing, we can take another Mach Punch for sure. I decided, you know what, I'm going to try a Gyro Ball here. Because I know I can survive this Drain Punch. And of course I do. So he gets the heal back up. And then, of course, Iron Barbs kicks in. And here comes the Gyro Ball. Now this Gyro Ball didn't do as much as I would have liked. But it did, I guess, enough. So we get our heal from our leftovers. 27. We get our heal from Leech Seed, which brings our health up again, and he brings him down to half. Now here I know I don't want to take another Drain Punch, so I switch out immediately into Configurus to take this. So right here, Leech Seed also will sap a little bit more health. He's taking a lot of damage here. Here he goes for the knockoff, which is very smart, because I do run the berry, so I can't use my rest, but he does get rid of his guts. And his knockoff also does a huge amount of damage. I did go for the Calm Mind. I was thinking of going for the Shadow Ball, but I'm like, no, I'll go for the Calm Mind, get the boost. And right here, I'm like, okay, I can survive a knockoff since he does no longer have, I have no longer an item. And, of course, Leech Seed healed me back up to 84. And so I survive. And I use the Shadow Ball. If I'd used Shadow Ball the first time, I probably would have had less health because I wouldn't have gotten the Leech Seed. So, it's interesting. Of course, right here, as soon as this comes out, I'm like, okay, what can this thing do? I should probably switch, but I'm going to stay in. I'm going to try to burn it. Of course, he is faster, and he goes for the Earthquake, which I knew I should have switched right there into Gliscor, but I didn't. And that was that was one of the mistakes I made. And it gives him the Moxie boost. So at this point, I'm kind of scared. And so I send in my Greninja, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to Ice Beam this thing. I want it out. He, of course, brings it out and brings out his God Slayer. Now, this thing is a tank. I didn't know at this point if it was, if it had Magic Guard or if it had Unaware. And so I'm like, you know what, I'll try to hit it, see what happens. This thing also seems to be specially bulky because it took that incredibly well, and it has leftovers. I'm like, okay, I'll go for the Hydro Pump. I probably can do enough damage to kill it. That Ice Beam did a lot. And if we look, it almost is enough. Almost. If he didn't have that leftovers, it would have been a kill there. But of course, he gets the Moonlight off. And at this point, I'm like, okay, I won't quite kill because the leftovers is going to heal him up even more. And all he's going to do is wear out my Life Orb. So I'm going to switch out. I'm going to go for, of course, Gliscor. Which was actually a good idea because if you look right here, he goes for the Thunderbolt, which threw me off. So I know this is an offensive Clefable. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go for the knockoff, get rid of the leftovers. That'll help a huge amount. And we did get the crit, which is a huge help. And then right here he goes for the Moonlight. And I'm like, okay. So this thing is going to be tanky, but I need to find out if it's Magic Guard or Unaware. So right here I just throw the Toxic out. You know, gonna see what it does. But then right here he goes for the Ice Beam, which I was not expecting. I was not expecting an Ice Beam. And so instantly I'm down, Gliscor's out, and I'm like, darn, that's one of my good tanks gone. So I have Gliscor gone, I have Configurus gone as tanks, and my Ferrothorn is very weak. So I send back out Florges, because I'm like, you know what, I can wall this thing. And he did take poison damage, so I'm like, okay, perfect. And right here, he sends out a Chandelure, which is nice, and it takes a huge amount of damage. I went for the Wish. If I'd gone for the Moonblast, I don't know what would have happened. But I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go for the wish. It's the safe bet. He does go for the burn. And I'm like, okay, that's annoying, but I can live through it. And now his Chandelier is gone. One of his huge special threats are gone. The so he has 2 of his major threats gone at this point. And that burn is going to actually come into play in this battle. So it's really interesting. So of course, right here, I'm like, okay, I'm going to switch. I go for the wish, because I'm like, you know what, I can take whatever this thing's going to throw at me. It's not going to do, it doesn't do enough damage. It did go for the knockoff, which actually confused me, because he had more than one knockoff Pokemon. But the leftovers are gone, and the burn kicks in, so I'm like, oh, that's not good. I get the wish off. I tried to go for a wish on the Ferrothorn right here. And I'm like, you know, I can do it. But he went for the knockoff again because he is choiced, and it ends up doing enough to take me out, which is very unfortunate. If he wasn't choiced, he would have probably not done enough damage to actually take me out, and the wish would have took effect, which is very unfortunate. And then right here, he switches out because, of course, I'm threatening him with the Greninja. He wants to try and tank me, and he can tank this right now. But I know he's poisoned, and he will take poison damage, and the rocks are kicking in. Those rocks that I laid earlier, coming in huge right now. So if we look, the Ice Beam, significant amount of damage. I don't want to risk the Hydro Pump in case it misses. And I know another Ice Beam will do the final blow. So I went for the Ice Beam as well, because if Azumarill switched out, I knew Hydro Pump would do good, but it has a chance of missing, and I wanted guaranteed damage on what came in. So of course, the Heracross comes out, and here I'm like, okay, Life Orb, after Stealth Rocks, this'll kill it, but it does Mega Evolve. Like, okay, this thing gets a lot of bulk when it Mega Evolves. Maybe this won't kill, but hopefully the Ice Beam will. So we go for it, and if we look, it almost does. He's down into the Dark Red. There's probably about 15 health there. And of course, with Pin Missile, he's going to take me out. It's not even a contest. So at this point, I'm very worried. Very worried. Because what I have left is going to be a huge problem. So I bring out the Manectric. I know Manectric's going to be faster, but Manectric's extremely low. And I go for the Intimidate just to make sure, you know, no shenanigans are going to happen. He does withdraw, but all I have left is the burned, really low health Florges and this Pokemon right here. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go for the Volt Switch, just in case. I go for the Volt Switch. It actually does a huge amount of damage, thankfully. I'm so glad he's a physical tank and not a special tank. So I send out the Florges. So on that switch, I actually got to withdraw my Pokemon and bring out the Florges. And I know Florges is almost always faster than Avalog. And so I'm like, okay, go for that wish. I need this wish. He has way too many threats left, especially that priority Azumarill. That priority Azumarill, this Avalog, and the Mega Heracross were going to be huge threats. The Heracross went down, very thankfully. So then I've got the wish off, and it's ready to go. And with the amount of damage I did with that last Volt Switch, I know I can take out the Avalog, and I know I'm faster. So here we go. We get another Intimidate off. It's helping out a little bit, I guess. But we go for the Thunderbolt, of course. We take him out. And right here, we get a crit. The crit did not matter. The Volt Switch did, like, 3/4 of his health, so the Thunderbolt probably would have killed him at full. But the Wish comes in, and I'm at 97 health out of 146. So the Heracross comes back. I know I'm faster. I was checking the speeds. And he died to the Stealth Rocks, very thankfully. I'm like, okay, that's another threat gone. The Azumarill comes out. Now this made me nervous, because I know he's Choice Banded. So he's going to do a lot of damage. He goes for the Aqua Jet. And right here, 9 health. So we go for the Thunderbolt, and we get the killing blow. So what started out as a bad play because I was slower ended up turning into the saving grace for the team. That really, really, really low health Manectric that survived the Fire Blast came back in the end because of the Wish to finish off and win me the game. So that battle, very intense, nerve-wracking the entire time. One of the best battles I've done in a little while. Robbles is a fantastic opponent. It's always fun to play against him. And it was just a great battle. I was so happy for how it played out. And I don't think it could have gone any better for either of us. So that's it for me for today. Thank you for watching. And please do check out my Twitch. I will have links to it after this. And be sure to check out Victory Road if you get the chance. They are a fantastic group of streamers. I think you will love them if you love battles. They're all very strong, very great streamers. And you should definitely show them your support. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching.